Hey guys, I guess this is going to be kind of like a state of the club thing or something like that. I did want to look really quick here at our tactic, just brag a little bit more about this strikerless formation and kind of how well it's been working. If you watched this morning's match, you saw that there was a lot of Chen Chengju running up into areas up front and attacking, and Ling Guanda taking shots from back out here. The nice thing about having these three guys up front, as I've mentioned before, is that the opposition central defenders don't know what to do. If you look closely, you'll see that they play further back, which means that these guys kind of have free reign up here because there's no striker up there for them to cover. And that little bit of space is kind of what's been opening things up for our offense, at least so far. It's possible, though, that we were just against really poor competition. We haven't played a whole lot of teams from our league with this system. We did play, of course, Taiwan Power in the match before, so yesterday's match. And then we played against the Taipei Skywalkers again in a friendly, which we won 5-2. Fairly impressive job. Of course, I didn't manage this at all. Scylla had 2 goals in less than 1 minute. To give us a really strong start. We did give up 2 goals, which is a shame. Scylla then missed a hat trick. He missed a penalty on 7 minutes. Man, what a crazy turn of events that was. I actually haven't looked at these, so let's go take a look and see what it looks like when we go through these goals and see if we can tell anything about the tactics. So this is right from the start, and Dai passes to Scylla, and he scores just like that, right? I mean, that's pretty impressive, right? He just gets the ball, and off it goes. Let's see what happens here on this one. And this is Scylla winning the ball. And again, you can see that the defense doesn't really know what to do. They're not really guarding anybody. And so they kind of run up with him. But at the same time, it's almost like the AI defense needs to sort of like stay back in case something behind it happens, even though there's nobody behind it. This is Ndaye passing this over to Menegon, was wide open. Man, look at that. And then to Gnaziri. And you can see right there, we can watch that one again probably. Gnaziri, if we try to follow him over here, where is he? He's right down there, right? If you watch him right here, there's nobody guarding him at all. And again, it's the same problem. You see the opposition has a couple of defenders who are trying to play back to guard against a striker who is not there. We'll see what happens here with Ndaye. Again, I haven't watched this before going through this here with you. And yeah, Ndaye just with tons of space. I mean, that has nothing to do with our tactic. That's just playing well after a corner. Let's see what this is. Cotter Bomb. I should have known this is another corner that he just headed in for a goal. And so there you go with the 5-2 victory. You know, if we go back though, and if we look at some of, I think, the other goals that we saw, for example, this one against Taiwan Power, I think we'll probably see some of the same thing. I probably should go through and like come up with some sort of like fancy, I don't know, cut it up type thing so that we can see it in greater detail. But in general, what's happening if you watch the defense and we play with this formation is, okay, they run back, and then we have all sorts of space right in front of them. And so Scylla, remember that goal, we'll look at that again. Such a pretty shot by him. When you look here, everybody's back, and so Scylla has just tons and tons of space, which is what made that work. There's like all of the separation between him and the defender because the defender is looking for a striker up front. The nice thing about this, one of the first things you know about strikerless formations is that you can use this to fight against the problems that you see when you have guys who are like offside all the time. The strikerless formation will mean that you're not going to be offside because you're playing a little bit further back, right? We go over here. Let's see if we can look at some of these from our most recent game that win against Kanoa. And see if we can see the same sort of pattern in any of these. Now, this is a team that I think is probably wouldn't finish very well in the league with us. See, here's Menegon with it and Gnaziri. So that really wasn't much of an example of anything that he could have done that playing as a striker. If we look here at this one right here, this is another one where Nene probably scores that one even if he's a normal striker. He's just playing sort of right on the edge of defense. Let's see if we have anything different happening on this third goal from him. And actually, no, not really. So this time you can see that Kanoa's problem is that they're playing sort of a higher line. We can show this one here to you again. They're trying to play a higher line, and Nene, because he's not the striker, is able to do a much better job of timing it and not being offside. Earlier, when we had him playing up front as the striker, he was almost always offside when that sort of thing would happen. and here is Scylla, and you can see once again, look at all of the space that's down here. So Scylla's right there, and we just have too many people in the zone. What we're really doing, if we watch that one again, is we're kind of flooding the zone here, and we have a whole bunch of guys here on the same side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, and there's just one that's wide open. So you just pass it around until you find the guy who's open. And the reason why we'll look at this once more is that they have a defender back here, I think a fullback who's playing there on their right side, who's just standing there. He's not guarding anybody. There's nobody even close to him. And instead, we have 4 or 5 guys over on their left side, and we've overloaded the zone. They don't have enough players to go there and to play against us. So, yeah, there you go. That's what the state of the squad is right now with the strikerless formation. This is really the best decision I've made in Football Manager in a while. I know I've talked a little bit about doing a different save, and we might actually at the very least pause this one for a while because of how long it takes to go from situation to situation. I'll show you here the problem that I'm dealing with right now, actually. We'll look at this again. You see we play against Casa de Portugal in Macau. And then our next league match is about, it's about 3 weeks later. It's the same thing that I had to go through just the other day, right, where we have like all these friendlies and stuff, and we're not actually playing league matches because of how, the schedule works and all of this. So we have this big match against Chinese Petroleum, but to get to that, we have to go through weeks and weeks of like just about nothing after the Casa de Portugal match. If we didn't have this, if we weren't in the AFC Cup, this would be even worse, right? Because we would have this Premier League game of August 29th, and then the next match is not until October 17th, right? The reason why I say that this is rough is because you want to pay attention to what's happening, especially if it's during the transfer window. That just closed for us, so it's not quite as bad now. You want to pay attention to what's happening. You can't really like put it on the sort of auto skip through everything mode, and yet at the same time, you're like, I don't really want to sit here and do this all day. This is one of the big weaknesses of Football Manager. It would be better if I had a faster computer, but there's a lot of things that would be better in my life. I'd probably be a little happier if I had $1 million more than I do today. That's not happening either. So we work with what we've got, and there you go. Hope you enjoyed this at least, but that shows you where Strikerless is so powerful, because at least in Football Manager, it completely confuses the defense, and they don't know how to react to you. We'll see how long it lasts. Would that happen in real life? Almost certainly not, but still, we know from the history of football tactics that moving back a little bit tends to create space. That's what the history of tactics have been for like a century now. If you move your guy back a little bit instead of just full out attack the full time, usually you can create a little bit more space and you can cause things to happen that wouldn't happen otherwise. So there you go. It does make sense. Talk to you later. Bye.